There are so few Jedi left. She's coming.
Our enemies are multiplying. The galaxy is not safe. I could use the help.
It's now or never.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Hunt them down.
This is where it gets interesting.
Get ready. Ready.
Ready.
Ahsoka, 2-episode premiere August 23rd, only on Disney+.
Chopper, calm down. We can't understand you, and as far as we can see, that's been happening for 4 seasons of Rebels.
We don't need any translation of droid. We can understand perfectly what's going on in there. And hello and welcome to the Periodic Table of Awesome.
Oh, no, you already said that in Chopper.
Finally. No, I was talking more like, oh my God, there's so many battles and lightsabers and crushing, but I haven't seen any weird genocide by a small orange droid yet. So,
Yeah.
yes, hello.
Save it for season 2.
Hello,
we've got to
murder
catch up on that.
droid, genocidal murder droid. You know, genocidal murder droid season 6 is what I can't wait for.
No.
Anyway, hi,
Hi,
Quinny, hi,
welcome
Jill.
back.
Hello.
Yes, back. We're back now.
Welcome back. We've had a week off.
Yes, you've had a week off. We've had a week off. Everyone's had a week off. Everyone's feeling refreshed and lovely.
We need it.
Yes, there were a few
Yes.
things that went on. I know that Jill went to PAX. I went overseas. It's still there.
Yeah.
I just checked.
The rest of the world is
Yeah,
still there.
I just checked. I just popped over. I was like, "Is it still over here?" And it turns out, yeah, it was. It was there. So that was good. And then, yeah, don't know. I lost Peter in the baggage because I flew Jetstar and they lost. I had Peter packed in the baggage. As we all know, she's an automaton.
We don't serve her count right.
Yeah,
out here.
yeah, we don't do that. And I am really excited because I had to wait a whole week to come back and watch the Ahsoka finale and try and stay off the internet and not get spoiled for that, which was remarkably harder than I thought it would be because
I was going to say you're in an island nation with patchy internet. How did you go?
Okay, so funny story about this. I swore to everyone, and this is totally got nothing to do with Ahsoka. Again, I'm off. I'm just off. I'm off.
These people are here because they love you.
Sure. Yeah. No, but like the whole thing was we're not going to have the internet like decidedly, and then the weather turned to absolute shit. So all of the plans that we had to not being on that suddenly got changed, and then we were like, "Got any more of that Wi-Fi?" It's just like, what are we gonna do? Yeah, but I just had to stay off while also simultaneously doing that. Anyway, Ahsoka, or Rebels season 5.
Yeah,
as
let's
we
call
were
it
just going to
its
call
name.
it what that
Or
is.
what it really is.
And I got to say, you know what? If I was walking into this as a non-Star Wars fan trying to check out what was going on in Ahsoka, I'd probably rate this about 25 out of 100, or maybe 10 out of 100, because it's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Who's
You
that?
know what I
What's
love?
that dude?
Yeah, what
You
is
know
that?
what I love the most? The little 7-minute Master and Apprentice special that they put on Disney Plus. Kathleen Kennedy herself says, "Oh, this is such a great series that you can just come in from anywhere in the Star Wars
I was like,
fandom and you'll
"Fuck
know
you,
exactly
Kathleen."
what's going on." I'm
Fuck
like,
off, Kathleen. No.
bitch, what are you on?
Like,
Yeah.
I love you, Kathleen. I'm not a Kathleen Kennedy hater by any stretch of the imagination, but do fuck off.
What is she
Exactly. That is some bullshit. Anyone who started watching this cold would be like, huh?
Huh?
What? It was
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't.
Terry, I can see that. Hello, yes, and hello to everyone in the chat. And I was going to say, Terry, you know what she was watching? She was watching her profit margin go up. That's what she was saying. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
But she's been doing this long enough now, and she probably just has it just falls into a thing of like, oh yeah, it's great. You can just watch it all the time. Amazing.
Yeah, now, I will admit, if you have no fucking clue at all who Ahsoka is, so if you have somehow managed to miss all of the Clone Wars, all of the Rebels, and the few episodes of Mandalorian where she showed up, then why the fuck are you watching this? But at the same time, there was so much rebels in here, and remember,
so much
you
rebels.
could fit so much rebels in
You
this
can,
thing.
you can fit so much rebels in here. I feel bad. I feel bad for people who did. Also, I feel bad for people who didn't watch the Clone Wars cartoon, who were just
Yes.
massively confused by like, who the fuck is that? Anakin had a Padawan. What the fuck is going on? Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what do you mean she's weird? Like, it's like, yes, like she's.
Why
got-
does she have head meat? It's
Yeah.
not hair.
Yeah. Why is she so surly and withdrawn? I don't know. Probably because all the trauma about growing up in a fucking war zone and her being 14 when she had to face Darth Maul. Oh, wait, you didn't get any of that because you didn't
No.
watch the Clone Wars or Rebel. Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
why does she have such long pauses between her sentences? Actually, nobody knows that. Nobody.
Uh,
Yeah, I'll throw some shade early
do you,
on.
do you,
I'm
do you
down
know?
with the dark
Do you
side.
know who knows that, Quinny? Grogu knows.
Yeah. he can hear what she's thinking in
Yeah.
between each of those massive fucking gaps between lines
Yeah.
where she stands there with her arms crossed and thinks.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a series that is just chock fan service, and I am not going to hate on that.
No, absolutely not.
Served the fan that
Yeah.
I am,
Yeah.
and I
Yes.
was very happy.
I
About
mean,
this
with-
On a
series.
silver platter.
I mean,
Barry.
yes, the greatest point about having Ahsoka on there, having those long pauses, we just allowed David Tennant to roll on in and just give a bit of one of the old a little bit of a
Yeah.
flippant remark, a little bit of shade throwing at a few people there by going, "You're a shit Jedi." Anyway, moving on.
Oh, the
dear.
love of Yang. So, before we go any further, should we
Sure.
discuss what the actual the synopsis? And I hate to tell you, this is the shortest fucking synopsis that I have ever seen for a series that ran this many episodes.
Sure. Would you like some background music?
Yes. Look, the more epic and Star Warsy, the better.
Oh,
And
well,
do we
it's
have any preferences to what
Chopper.
character?
Chopper.
No, give us your best Lars Nicholson.
Oh no! Fucking.
Oh no.
Jesus.
Yeah, I remember, Quinny. It's still European, but you don't know which country, and it's not Russian. You know, think of it. It's
He's
kind of a.
just slightly.
It's
One of those tiny
Right.
little landlocked places.
It's
Yeah.
not the Silence of the
Fucking
Lamb.
don't
It's
know
not
where he's
Hannibal.
from. Okay,
It's-
we'll give it a go. We've got to give it a go. I
Jesus,
just need to
okay.
think much more blue.
Menacing.
Yeah, simple,
Something
simple,
like
Quinny.
that.
Just think
Yeah.
Lithuanian pirate.
How's my shit week?
Come on.
After the fall of the Galactic Empire. I got nothing.
Just go, keep going.
Former Jedi Knight Ahsoka Tano investigates an emerging threat to a vulnerable galaxy. That's it.
Fuck me.
Two lines.
Yeah, two
Delivered.
lines. And I
Delivered
do it.
perfectly. Delivered perfectly. I
Thank
Delivered.
you,
like
thank
that.
you. I'll
It was
collect my
uncanny,
paycheck
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Oh dear, yes. Yes. I agree,
Where
Terry.
them shit accents at?
Quinny, are you okay? Are you having a stronk? Does Quinny need ambulance?
100%.
Dial 9 now. Oh wow.
Yes, in the chat for that one.
Oh,
After the fall of the
Yeah,
Galactic
that.
Empire.
Do you know what? That sounded more like the like. Do you remember Con Man and the tutu bumblebee guy who was like, my bed they burnt in a fire. I was like, wow. Okay, Jesus, Quinny.
The funny part about it, it's not even accurate. After the fall of the Galactic Empire, former Jedi Knight. No, she was never a knight, was she?
No. Yeah, you're right. You're right there, Quinny.
Yeah.
She left.
didn't finish her
She
training and
left
never
the
became
order
a Jedi Knight.
before completing the
Technically.
trials.
Yeah, I know. I'm being fucking pedantic.
I mean,
but
she
hey, we're in
gave-
Star Wars
yeah.
land.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess she did walk away from the order, so she couldn't have been
She
a knight.
never completed her trials.
No?
Unless she got, a battlefield promotion.
No. Well, she
where-
did. She got battlefield promotions, which took her to commander.
But yeah, was
but
she,
she
ever
wasn't.
a knight?
No, she's only ever
Who
referred to as
gives a
Lady
shit? That's the
Tano.
real reason.
Yeah, I do because nerds. No.
Oh yeah, sorry.
yeah,
Gonk.
yeah.
Fuck, I nearly need to gonk myself on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I thoroughly enjoyed the Ahsoka show, mainly because it wasn't really about Ahsoka, in the sense that she wasn't the one who had the most interesting character development, and I
No.
didn't really give a shit. It was just more like, hey, do you like the? Hey, did you like this shit from Rebels? We're just gonna squeeze that in there, okay? Gonna lube this up and move it on in. To everyone just going, yay! I got to see something from Rebels. Amazing. Plus a couple
In
of
live action.
extra additions.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I enjoyed seeing these things come to pass, and I'm not going to say. I should put the Should I put the spoiler thing up now, or wait till the next one? Because most
To
of
the
this,
end, wait to the end.
because there's a
Yeah.
lot of spoilers just in the framing of what we have going on behind the chat window on our show
Well,
right
yeah,
now,
true.
which is kind of like, hey, do you like?
Honestly, I think we can still talk about whether the show worked and
Sure.
whether people should go and watch it.
Sure.
Like if you for whatever reason have been a Star Wars fan and have gone, oh, I'm not so sure about this Ahsoka show. I think we can give you some opinions on that as to whether or not it's actually well made or whether all that kind of stuff. We have the technology. Oh, hang on.
Sure.
Rob says spoiler warning up now would be good. Okay, well, whatever.
Sorry,
Sorry, Rob.
Yeah, consider yourself warned-ish.
Yeah, you are
Yeah, yeah.
warned-ish, Rob.
We're
Yeah,
not going to purposefully spoil anything now until we get to actual spoilers.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to talk about like all of this. I just it's been out. It's been the zeitgeist kind of thing that's been talked about in the Star Wars world for a long time. The spoilers after each episode, because kind of in this episodic thing, 3 episodes sort of came out and it wasn't really too spoilery, and then it seemed like every episode there was literally something that was like, oh my god, this person turns up, then this person turns up, then this person turns up. So it kind of wrapped up, kind of fun,
Yeah.
and threw some interesting ideas in there and some shit that I'm just going to go out right away. And I know that I'll save it till later. And if you watch the Clone Wars, you'll understand it. But Dave seems to be going down a path that is very difficult and very much something that is kind of like interesting. How are you going to execute that? But I'll come back to that one.
Yeah,
in the
okay.
Come back
spoilery
in
section.
spoilers.
Yes.
Because I'm intrigued to know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
'cause
well,
there's
don't worry,
literally-
I'll give you the full Boona as it was.
Okay.
I'll give you
need
the
to know
full
what that is.
Bogan, which is a very
Oh, Jesus
yeah.
Christ. You are okay. Now I know you're gonna need
Yes,
some gonk.
maybe some Bendu in there as well.
Ooh, that was a character I missed from this season.
I would have loved to have
I
had
would have
fucking
loved to have
Tom
seen it.
Baker voicing the Bendu.
Well,
That would have been amazing.
I was just kind of I was hoping that we'd get a Freddie Prinze Jr. cameo back in there as dead Kanan
Jarrus. Freddie's
Jarrus.
really done.
Yeah.
He's really done.
He's quite vocally not down for any more Kanan.
But as we've always said, everyone says that until the right amount of dump trucks full of cash turn up on your doorstep, and then you're like, fine. Like,
Yeah,
this
okay.
is how we got the Hobbit trilogy.
Yes.
Peter Jackson going, I can't do it. I can't. It's breaking me. I can't do it. I've done. I've finished with it. Oh my God, there are so many dump trucks. There are so many dump trucks on the street. It's like, yes, great. Anyway,
Yeah. So,
Alright.
okay, main characters in this, of course, we have the return of Ahsoka, Rosario Dawson, very ably played, though I do still think that there was some very fucking strange pausing. Like, I know that, like, there are a couple of conversations between her and Sabine where I was like, fuck me, running. Just edit out some of the gaps. Like, I know that they're going for a kind of more measured kind of conversational thing, but there were a couple of times I was just like, "Ugh, come on." And that's just
Okay.
me. That's
Yep.
just
Yeah,
me.
I think it might just be you.
Um,
'Cause I'm like, what are you talking about?
oh,
She's
no, they're just
it's an interesting delivery with Ahsoka. So I kind of I see where you're coming from, Quinny.
like, okay, if I were directing this on stage, I would tell people to think during the gaps. Because you get to the end of somebody else's line and then the actor thinks and then they respond. And I'm like, come on, we can just pace this up a little bit. But that's just me being a little in need of something else. Sabine, what did we think of Sabine?
Um, As somebody that enjoyed her character in Rebels, I felt she was a little undercooked in
Hmm,
this series. I feel like she maybe made some choices that I thought were possibly out of character. Um,
sure.
yeah, but by the end of it, I think I definitely enjoyed her journey by the end, but it was not really until the last couple of episodes.
Yeah,
She
it's gonna.
warmed up a lot in those last couple of
Yeah.
episodes, like, and the moment that she starts getting some of the things that she's been looking for, you start going, oh, okay, there's that character.
Yeah, unfortunately, I felt a little bit of a disconnect with her in the start from where we left off with her in Rebels.
Yeah, it's a strange thing too because I mean it's weighted with so much uh, establishment of these characters within previous stuff, and this is where I find that it's going to be very strange for people who didn't watch all of that, and then for people who did watch all of that, it's two very separate things, and this is kind of where I kind of want to give it two different ratings or two different estimations based on the fact that if you came into this cold, how would this look to someone? If you came into it with all the knowledge of it, how does that look to someone? And it's two very
Mm.
different reactions. I can actually viscerally understand how someone could be like, I didn't like Ahsoka. I didn't like these characters. I didn't understand them. I could be like, I get that. Or I can see people like, I watched Rebels and I watched the Clone Wars and I didn't like what they did or how the character acted or moved or did this stuff. And I'm like, I can understand that. Um,
Hmm.
it's
I can
it's
also understand the people who are like, I watched Rebels, and yeah, this was really great and really fun. And I loved where they took those characters. I can understand that too, because there are parts of it that I agree with all of those things. You
yeah,
know, you can look at things from an outsider's perspective and go, this is impenetrable.
Yeah.
yeah,
But then also there are people who can join in for the first time and go, this is new characters. And there's some new shit happening here that nobody's seen before. And that's exciting and interesting.
Sure.
And to me, they were the bits that I actually thought were kind of the more successful bits.
yeah.
Where it's something new.
Did you like the portrayal of Hera?
I did like Hera.
Yeah.
Not that, yeah, but you know what I did? I kind of liked everyone around these central characters more. Does this make sense? We have a lot of these established characters like Ahsoka, Sabine, Hera, um, to a small extent. What's her
Ezra?
name?
No.
No, the other one. The Morgan Elsbeth. She was
Oh,
already established, but I found that the
Mortal?
presence of people who we hadn't seen yet and that were introduced into this show really were the ones that create a lot of interest and drama and seemed to know what they were doing. Whereas the ones who had already appeared elsewhere, I was like, all of you seem to not really know. You seem to be caught. Like acting seems to be caught between. Um, I want to do something of my own, but I also have this, history that I have to acknowledge and play through, and it became a little weird up until the very important one that came in halfway through the series, who was just like, that's like slipping into an old glove. Totally comfortable,
mm,
absolutely fine.
yeah. In the chat, Tari brings up the question, where the fuck was Zeb?
Yeah, I was
Like,
kind of disappointed that we didn't get more Zeb, especially
Because
after we saw
he's
him in Mando.
Yeah, because he's out
exactly.
in the outer rim training new pilots, and
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we've got
yeah.
the
you built the
Japanese
model.
guy. Like, why didn't we
Yeah.
get Zeb as well?
Yeah, and you've built the 3D model. You know how to do it.
Carson
Just
Teva.
fucking whack it up there.
Yes, you got Carson Teva. Yeah, but I mean, if they don't have all of this, how are you supposed to put the Ghost Crew all the back together in the next season of the next thing that they're doing?
Yeah,
And don't
you gotta
forget
do
that
all
they've
the
that
metaphors.
they've already announced that they're making 2 movies.
Okay, so is that where we're at with this now?
Oh fuck, who knows? Like it's Hollywood,
Right.
man. It's absolutely Hollywood. They're just coming out of a writer's strike. They don't know what
Still
they're
in the middle of
doing.
an actor's strike.
Like 3 years ago, around pre-pandemic or middle of the pandemic times, I can't actually remember because it's all just a giant blur. They had announced like 5 or 6 different Star Wars projects. Almost all of them are shelved now.
The Acolyte still exists. I think that's still going
Yeah,
to happen.
yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Acolyte's still coming and Skeleton Crew is still coming. It's just
Oh,
doing
is it?
stuff. But I mean, you're missing a whole bunch of things like Rogue Squadron. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
Mm.
well,
yeah,
and Rogue One. No, yeah, that was the Patty
Rogue
Jenkins
Squadron.
one, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
all of this stuff was big stuff that they announced that they were doing, and now they've just shelved a fuck ton of it, and now they're just back to like, I don't know what we're doing now, haha, and they just every time there's a celebration. Sorry, Jill, you're going to say something? I know.
Yes. Let's
Yes.
talk about Balin Skull and
Yes.
Yes.
I was trying to say it without saying it, but yes, in terms of things that are new and things that are interesting,
Yes.
here he is.
I
And
really liked these characters, but then why did we get no ending for them?
Because I think that they had a lot of things that they were going to do, and we kind of got an ending. Yeah, but I mean, look,
yeah,
good. So I really enjoyed the their introduction and their whole thing. What's that theater thing? Lovey, darling, do more with less.
Mm.
And in this, they're doing a lot with not a very lot.
Mm.
And
I've
that.
seen an awful lot of people talking about Balin and Shin to a lesser degree, but mostly Balin, going, "Oh, there's all this stuff that we've picked up on about his history and where he comes from and what his drives are and everything." And I was like, "Fucking hell, you got a lot out of what he had to say."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's cool
But-
because he's just an interesting character. He's a presence,
Yes,
a physical presence.
Quite enigmatic to
Yeah.
learn that, he did come from the Jedi Order, and I want to know like what made him strike away from that and become this mercenary.
Yeah.
But not a
But-
Sith.
Yeah, but also a mercenary that took on a technically a Padawan mercenary as well. Like that was quite interesting.
Is he one of those grey Jedi that we've always sort of, people have talked about, which also nicely kind of frames against Ahsoka, because she was also somebody who said, okay, I'm going to turn my back on the Jedi, but I'm not going to go evil. I'm going to find my own path. And it's like they're two parallel lines, probably parallel golden lines through a dark blue space.
It all makes sense.
Yes, it's so perfect. But
And
yeah,
also, when did Snake Eyes leave the Joes and become a mercenary?
Yeah, I was annoyed by that too. I was like, hang on a second. But I immediately started connecting all those dots, just like at the end of the episode, all those dots are lining up. And it's like, yeah, no, because if he's Snake Eyes, who Snake Eyes was played by Ray Park, and Ray Park was in G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, and he was also Darth Maul, so maybe that guy is actually Darth Maul with a mask on.
but also
That's some good red string conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
Dion.
no,
golden
gold string, anyway.
line conspiracy theory that we get at the end of it.
And also, Darth Maul was played by Sam Witwer, whose
Yes.
voice was in the credits for multiple of the episodes, and everybody was assuming that it was going to be Starkiller from the games, but no, Sam Witwer is just a working voice actor.
Yes.
Who does a whole bunch of crowd stuff.
Yeah. We all know this, but who knows? It could turn out, it could be real. We don't know that. Yes.
Well, we do know that whoever was in that Marok suit is apparently made entirely of green gas.
Oh God! Yeah. Well, don't
it's
again.
Voldemort. He just dissipated.
Yeah, and as has been mentioned earlier in the chat, and as we understand, it's very disappointing and sad that Ray Stevenson passed away, which was so annoying because he did such a great job in this, in the sense that
but also probably annoying for his friends and family that miss him.
Yes, exactly.
Like, and interesting seeing his body of work where he's done so many interesting things, and quite often in the nerd space, as it were. He's played the Punisher, he's played one of the Warriors 3, and now this, but he is a great actor, and an interesting actor, and it's seeing that last shot of him, I was like, fucking hell. Like, he's epic to look at, but also you think, God damn, that's such a shame. Yeah, like, great performer, and hopefully, we'll find some way to either wrap that story in a way that respects him, or a way to just shelve it and say, okay, that's a storyline that we'll tell in another way,
Yeah.
which is always very difficult.
Yeah. Um, other characters that showed up in this series, can we talk about, or should we? Is it a spoiler to talk about some of them?
Well, quite possibly, without knowing who they are.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, we can talk about Thrawn.
can we?
Everybody knew Thrawn was coming back.
Right.
He's
Okay.
in the trailer.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
he
I'm
was
kind of going with what's in that first trailer is
Yeah.
is safe territory.
right. Okay. Yeah. Look, Thrawn is great, and thankfully, Lars Mikkelsen is back. Who provided the voice to Thrawn in the Rebels TV show, and I think there was a certain part of Dave Filoni who was done stunt casting, going, "Hey," it's kind of that thing. It's like, have you ever done a voice for Dave Filoni? You're probably gonna get shoehorned into the live action.
Yeah.
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 Um.
I mean, Hu Yang also was one of the characters that was in the animation and then
Yep.
transferred to live action, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yes,
And I
Which I-
remember Katie Sackhoff
with
did
the
that.
same voice.
Yes.
Did that great interview. Remember the one she gave, that great interview where she was like, remembering getting cast on the Clone Wars and then the Rebels TV show, and Dave was like, "Oh yeah, and maybe if it all goes well, maybe you'll do a live action one day." And she's like, "No, that's like, yeah, good joke, nice one." And then she got the call, and she's like, "Yes." It's like, "Hey, that thing that we talked about, do you want to do that?" It's like, "Sure."
Mhm.
But
It's very nice.
yes,
Very, very nice. There were we kind of skipped over Hera. One thing that I did find frustrating, there were a couple of times, like one of the things about what are they called? Twi'leks.
Mhm.
Their accent. Like half the time it's French. Or
Oh no. It's no.
I'm sorry,
It's
it's
Caribbean French. It's
ah
very it's like racist voices in Star Wars, I have to say.
it's just called exotic. You just
it's-
have to go with exotic.
Yeah.
Because if you're hearing a sound and creating a mental picture and coming up with it, then that's your own idea.
Are you saying I'm generalizing?
It is Star Wars.
Maybe. But that was
Yes.
one of those things that I loved that in once again back in Rebels, quite often when Hera would get really upset about something, her accent would change to her Rylothian accent.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, I would have loved to have heard just a hint of that. Like, I think she did a great job. The actor did a really, really good job of it. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead is eminently, watchable and entertaining. But yeah, there were just those times where you go, I love the character from the cartoon so much.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she was very true to her character. She was very much the mother in Rebels, and it was nice to see like that maternal side still with Jason, and not dismissing a child for them being annoying, but like actually listening to her child and realizing that yes, he is gifted, and yeah,
Very much so.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah.
And like, I'm glad that Jason wasn't as creepy looking as he was in Rebels.
Yeah, it's true.
That was
But
a
also
terrifying kid.
a real hard misunderstanding is like people who just walked into this going, "Who's that kid?"
It's all right. Hu Young's there to explain everything.
Yeah. Well, yes,
Oh,
exactly.
thank God for an exposition droid.
Love an exposition droid. Yeah. Just remember to include one in all of your science fiction shows. It's like a droid that pops in and goes, "Actually, that's because of this." Blah 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 blah. It's like,
Yeah.
Yes.
great.
And we can do long sequences of exposition as long as we do some lightsaber fighting at the same time.
Hey.
Hey,
I quite enjoyed. There was an interesting language that came along with a lot of the stunts in this kind of thing. Some of them I thought were quite choppy, not in reference to Chopper, but they were choppy.
Sorry.
Yes, yes, I understand that. There was an interesting language I found in the dynamism between the way people fought and the different way, like things and the different ways
Yeah.
they trained, and sometimes I think the fight scenes were amazing in this, and other times I was sitting there going, "Oh my god, this is terrible." Like you can do
What's
things so well, but you're not doing things smartly in this one. This is the dumbest thing that I've ever seen. And part of that, actually, I will say right here, I'll go on record and go, I had a lot of problems with the finale, based on I thought the action was absolutely terrible.
You know what? For a fight scene with Diana and Asanto, I was kind of disappointed
Yeah,
by her last battle. I
and
was like,
also the things took a
I
whole
put
bunch of
everything down. I'm like, this is going to be balls to the
Mm.
wall. I'm putting everything down. I'm going to watch this. And I was like,
yeah, a little bit
because
like
honestly,
oh.
the Ahsoka and Balin battle was way
'Cause
cooler. That gave me
I was gonna
Yes.
such a
say,
nerd boner watching that
like,
scene.
Yeah,
that is sequence. That fight sequence is people use the term a lot, but it's a masterclass
yeah.
in talking about character through movement.
Mhm.
Like it's the way that he moves, the way that they both are fighting to their own styles, but
Yeah.
also, everything about the design of him, the size of his lightsaber, which is significantly like it's a broadsword.
Yeah.
It's not, and it's a penis joke. But she's using, a tanto and a katana. He's using a fucking broadsword. He's a knight. It's a
Yeah.
knight fighting a samurai.
I know, and it's sick.
And it's so fucking cool. And they're fast, and that's great. And then then you get some of that stuff later on, and I'm like, oh, what happened here?
Like the
Yeah, everything felt really telegraphed in that
Mm.
last
the
fight
Beskar
sequence.
steel spear fight with Ahsoka
Oh, that
in
was
The
great.
Mandalorian was
See, now
amazing.
that was great, and I was wanting more of that for that. that
And I'll just
final
have one
scene,
little
but-
bitch before we get into the
Mm.
spoilery things where I can have more of a
Yes.
bitch. But why did they choose at that point to have everyone stop and watch two characters fight? No, kill them. Kill them. That's your job. Your job is to shoot people. There was a couple
Also,
of those moments in
because
the end
they're
there.
troopers.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
No. They were
Yeah.
supposed to be mindless automatons. Anyway.
Mhm. Yeah.
Apart from that, was the Ahsoka series, before we go to a clip and do a rating and go to a clip and come back in so we can actually unload the shit that has been pending up and
I know
being
that we're
annoying.
trying not to talk about.
Is there anything I'm not going to say bog standard these days, but I'm going to go satisfyingly amazing work again on the volume and creating interesting things. But yeah, tying together a lot of shit. I was going to say silly, not. They're just kind of like a lot of real wacky ideas out there that are taken seriously that Filoni's come up with. And they're like, sure. I was like, cool. Hyperspace whales? Nice. Whatever.
I thought it was so fascinating to get a look at the supernatural world of Star Wars because
Yeah.
it's not something you get quite a lot of.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we did get touches of it in Clone Wars with
Mhm.
the witches of Dathomir
Yep.
and stuff like that, but to actually like get more into that world
Yeah.
and realize that there is that aspect to this universe as well. I mean, we don't really think about the Force as being like a supernatural entity, but
Yeah.
it's kind of what that is.
And there was that great undercurrent, I remember, in the Clone Wars that, Mother Talzin, was one of the only people in the universal galaxy that Palpatine feared. That he was like, oh, actually, she's a bit too, I'm worried about her. And that was an interesting dichotomy to have show up in the thing. Now, finally, we've talked about Dathomir a few times everywhere, and now we get to see some Dathomir. It's like, great.
Yay.
We want to go Dathomir.
Yeah. I think it's
I want Ventress.
yeah.
She's still out there.
She's out there doing something, and she'd make a great character to show up in season 2, whenever that may be. I love seeing the exploration of different aspects of the Force, and I like one of the reasons I love The Last Jedi as much as I do is because it says, okay, there are Force users everywhere, and they're not all just a single bloodline of the Skywalkers or whatever, or the Palpatines or whatever. Anyone can do it. And in this one, it's like, okay, no, there are people who use the Force in completely different ways, including the Witches of Dathomir. And then as we come to, at the end, there's an entire mythology built throughout Rebels and the Clone Wars of the Mortis stuff that is like a whole nother level of storytelling around the Force. that I was like, oh yeah, let's get into that. But then I also think from an external perspective, as the poor fuckers who's watching this from the outside going, why is he standing on the Argonath from the end of Lord of the Rings?
Yes,
Get-
it does have like
get-
that vibe.
Yeah.
Put that in the next section,
I
Quinny.
know,
In the
I'm
next
sorry.
section.
I jumped my gun on that one. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Who's
Um,
this Mount Rushmore?
Yeah. But
um,
I thought that like that kind of storytelling is really exciting. And like actually one of my favorite things I found out or realized that so much of the ship work, the ships and everything, they're still fucking handmade models. And that
Oh,
excites
really?
me.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Ahsoka's ship, they had to work out how to build the thing so that they
Yep.
could do motion tracking and motion control rigs with a model of a
Mhm.
thing that, you know,
Yeah.
flips
Moves
and
that way.
stuff like
Spins.
that.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
And they kept like there's some interesting touches in the design work in this, which is great. Like the hot rod ships that Shin Hati and Marek were flying, and the pirate kind of thing. Like they were interesting because they're kind of based on the '50s car. See, that's how you do a '50s car inspired sort of thing, not the scooter shit from Book of Boba
Oh,
Fett.
Power Rangers scooter.
Power Rangers scooters.
Also,
Yeah.
the costumes were so lovely as well.
Mm.
The
In this one,
set
yeah.
production was beautiful. Like not the sound stuff, but like the actual
Mm.
visceral surroundings that they're working within. Like those stone prayer penji
Circle
things
things,
were
yeah.
really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. A couple of people said to me that watching this, they felt like it was really like the Star Wars movies. Like some of the other shows
Mm.
have felt quite televisual, whereas this felt more like the movies, like the the wipes. Some of them have gone. Yeah, we're based on Star Wars, but we're not going to do all of that Star Wars stuff. We're going to tell our own story our own way. This felt very much like it was feeling like those movies a lot.
Yeah. And it felt that sort of vibe to me as well. In Ahsoka, you're like, oh, it's high concepts Jedi versus evil people. Lots of kind of a reason for something happening. Like there's something spooky out there in the universe, and we have to try to stop it. Kind of like it felt more like, oh yeah, this is kind of coming back to a bit of the Jedi Star Warsy thing after having like Andor. And those like, which I love. I think I like
Yeah,
them
yeah, I was gonna
both
say.
equally. I still think Andor is better than Ahsoka, but that's mainly because it's more relatable. Whereas I can't really relate to a force sort of thing. Yeah,
Force Run.
Yeah.
force runes.
I think exploring all of these things really makes me enjoy Star Wars more as a whole because there are so many aspects of it. And I never saw myself being this much of a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Like 15 years ago as I am now. And it's thanks to shows like Clone Wars and Rebels that give me more backstory and more information and just
to have that kind
more
of
history.
like comparative analysis, which is sort of unfair. I'd say like, you know how like Star Trek had a long history of television and movies and things that came out, so people had different aspects. And with Star Trek, you sort of went, there's some good ones and some bad ones. You know, it's sort of hit and miss. And some feels good, and when it's done really well, it's great, and when it's done badly, it's terrible. I think for a long time there, Star Wars had only the movies to hang the hat on, and then some cartoons. But then it had
exactly that,
like a lot of books, and that was why the great schism of what's legend and what's canon after the Disney purchase create a lot of tension. But since then, Star Wars has just been pumping out a lot of content that is filling in the gaps, sort of like Star Trek. Well,
I also remember early on, like when we did just have those films, like there were those 3 films, and then there were those 6 films, and then there was droids, and then there was Ewoks, and there were
your timeline's messed up there. What are you talking about?
I know.
There were the 3 films, and then there were Ewoks and droids, and then there were a lot of comics and a lot of books, and then there were 3 more films.
Yeah, but that whole thing, I remember the rumors where they were saying, oh, they've written like hundreds of episodes of TV, and like it's all been written and it's all going to happen, and we're all like, no, it's not. The idea of that was just so ridiculous, that these things that existed only as movies could possibly be an ongoing and persistent world.
Yeah.
And then when you get it, you're like, oh, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, and
It feels huge.
you get things like Star Wars Resistance.
Okay.
They can't all be winners, Quinny. They can't all be winners.
Well, ain't that a fact?
Should we go ratings?
I think we should.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody in the chat, drop some ratings with that hot
Yeah.
100 so I
Oh,
can see it.
And one thing that I'm going to say too, just quickly thinking about the history and all of those kind of bits and pieces that are coming through as well. We've also got to remember there was a bunch of games that were done really well through Lucasfilm that expanded on a bunch of shit like this. And one of the first times I remember seeing Thrawn in outside of the book canon was in a computer game.
Oh.
Which one was that?
It was like a RTS thing. I can't remember what it was called actually. But you got to control he was like a Star Destroyer on the Imperial fleet that you could call in as like a power person, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, Thrawn!" Like,
Flange cannons in there with a with TIE fighter.
Oh yeah. There was heaps of lore and interesting things in there too. Anyway,
well, I always remember actually, there were those 3 movies, those 2 cartoons, and then at some point there was Shadows of the Empire. And everyone went, what?
Do you know what? I'm still down for Shadows of the Empire. They can get that in there somewhere. Come on.
I want to see them try. Okay, let's drop a rating.
Drop a rating?
Yeah, go on. I know you want to.
Can I give 2? Do they get to be averaged out?
They will be, yes.
Oh, okay. If I hadn't have watched, if you come into it cold, as in I need to watch Ahsoka, and you've perhaps only just seen the original 3 movies, and then you're like, I might watch Ahsoka, I would give this maybe 40 out of 100 because I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? I don't understand any of this, but more, I think it was just very well successfully executed. It was beautifully worked out, so I could give, but I still can only give it 80 because there's a lot of issues. I had a lot of issues with it. I know it's strange, isn't it? It's like, I think I'd love it, but I'm like, nah. All the great parts bits come out, and I'm like, but that was dumb, and then I knock it down a little bit more. Like, this is great, but then you did this dumb thing. Anyway,
this is true.
Okay.
Jill.
I am gonna give it 88. I really liked it. It serviced my fan needs because I did binge all of Rebels before Ahsoka came out because I had done Clone Wars and I hadn't got around to Rebels yet. And then I'm like, oh shit, if I'm gonna watch Ahsoka, I need to watch Rebels because there's more story there and it's gonna pick up after that. So I was like, binged all of Rebels the last couple of months and went straight into this. So it was very fresh and raw from that, and then straight into this, and it made me cry. And
oh wow, nice.
Yeah,
it got you in them feels.
It did get me in the feels. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was beautiful to look at, and I loved the fight scenes, and I felt the tension, and I really enjoyed it.
Nice. I'm I'm torn in much the same way you are, D. I can very easily imagine somebody coming into this and going, what is going on? I am completely lost. I don't know why these characters, why are they there? What is that? But also, I'm not that person, and I can't rate it for that person. I am me. And it's been a while since I've seen Rebels, so I actually had to go back and, like, at one point I thought, fuck, I better watch the last 2 episodes of Rebels again because I can't remember how it ends. And that's when, suddenly the Star Whales come in, and I was like, oh, that's what they, yeah. And suddenly all these things suddenly made more sense. And I was like, oh, that's a huge plot point that actually makes sense now. And that kind of stuff, I was like, oh, okay, right. And so for me, it was a lot of feeling of sort of discovery. And also feeling like there's big elements of story, like there's 20 years in between those 2, or however many years it is, in between the end of that series and the start of this one, that you go, okay, there's a lot of water under the bridge and you have to accept that. But sometimes it feels weird because you're like, oh, but no, we've just seen those characters doing the same thing, like Sabine Ahsoka, like literally the last time you see him in Rebels, they're going off and doing exactly the same shots.
Yes.
And he's like, okay, right.
Yeah.
Look, all of that aside, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very pretty. It moved along at a pretty fucking good pace, even though there were times I was like, the performances started to get a little bit slow for my taste. So for me, it's an 88. I really enjoyed it. There were, but yeah, that last episode, some of that shit fell apart.
Yeah.
Like the action beats in the last episode are a big foible.
Yeah.
So let's look at some action beats that are probably not so foible.
Sure. I think I might go to the Balin Skull Shin Hati conversation coming out of episode 7 that's here, talking
Nice.
about the old Jedi Order, because I'll save the other clip for the spoilery section so we can just go at it and we'll do both. But anyway, we'll just have a little clip and then we'll come back and we'll do spoilers. You have been warned. Look, if you haven't seen Ahsoka, go out there and watch it. And if you haven't watched Rebels or Clone Wars, go and try and watch it and then go back and watch Rebels and Clone Wars and then watch it again and be like, oh, I get it all now.
They're good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the thing. They're good.
Yeah, they are good. Just because it's a cartoon doesn't mean it's any worse.
True. Let's go and watch a clip.
Do you miss it? The Order.
I miss the idea of it. But not the truth. The weakness. There was no future there.
You clearly see one here? In this wasteland?
I see what once was the great witch kingdom of the Dathmiri. The existence of the Great Mothers confirms this.
They seem eager to leave this place. Maybe we should too.
Perhaps they flee a power greater than their own.
Oh, perhaps they flee a power greater than their own.
Turns out he was right.
All right, okay. Spoilery time to go through all of
Spoilers.
this.
Is the symbol up?
The symbol is up there. What do you think that Balin Skull was talking about? The most interesting character that showed up in Ahsoka got to drop some pretty fucking significant hints about what was probably going to be out there. And then, yes, at the very end, not post-credit scene, but like end of the season, you're saying, yes, why is he standing on the Lord of the Rings statue? It's not the Lord of the Rings statue. It's a statue of the father and then the brother, which is standing there, and what looks like a decapitated head of the sister that was there pointing into the distance toward Mount Doom. I mean, a mountain that is shining a beacon. Which
Tell us how you
also-
feel, sorry.
yeah,
But also, then just before that, we see the bird that I can't think of the name of.
the owl.
It's not
She's-
an owl. It's got a different name.
She's
It's like
the
an owl.
well,
It's
she's the
just
sister.
an alien owl. Okay.
Yeah, okay. The alien owl.
The alien owl.
The alien owl, which was the
the
aspect
avatar
of
of the sister,
Yep.
and the
Yes.
power of the sister went into Ahsoka way back when.
Yep.
So all of these things are, of course, talking about the Mortis.
Yes, the
gods,
Mortis
if you
arc.
will.
Oh my god, are they going to do the fucking Mortis arc? And that's going to be very interesting. And my big thing is, do you think they're
Right,
going to
okay,
have the guts to do Abeloth?
Okay, what's Abeloth?
What the fuck is Abeloth, as you may
Tell
all
us, Gonk.
Gonk.
Yeah, I'm getting that
Gonkity
gonk
gonk.
ready right now.
Gonkity gonk gonk gonky gonk. Abeloth is an idea that came out in the books a little while ago. Basically, it follows on from the Mortis arc, where you had the father, the sister, and the brother, who were all the Force triumvirate, whatever you're talking about, but they had a mortal mother who was like, yeah, and she was a mortal mother who was basically taking care of them and keeping them balanced and making sure everything was in balance. But because she was mortal, she aged and she was dying, and they didn't know what they wanted to do, and they couldn't figure out. Like, basically, the father's like, no, she has to die. She's mortal. And the brother and sister were like, no, we want to keep her alive. We want to give her the gifts. and basically got it to drink, like kind of drink from the well of two different things, well of power and well of knowledge, that kind of Lazarus pit kind of thing. Except it drove her mad, and she became one of the most powerful force creatures in all of existence, whose thing just came down to death and destruction and wanting to kill and corrupt everything.
Sounds a bit Sithy, if you ask me.
Yeah, a little bit, but like the whole sort of thing was she just kind of Abeloth. Well, it's not really a she anymore. It's just a concept. It's just something that didn't matter who you were. It's like, are you dark side? Are you light side? I don't care. I'm here to destroy.
Anyway.
Yeah, kind of. There's a very, very fucking quick cliff notes of it. It doesn't have anything to do. That's just supposition for Ahsoka. Can we get back and talk about Ahsoka? Did we all like the Kintsugi troopers?
Yes.
Yes. Cosplayers
Yes.
around the world cried out in anger and were suddenly silenced by, God damn it.
I guarantee you that there's no fucking shortage of people who are, 501st troopers and stuff like that who are like, fuck yeah, I can finally use my old armor.
It took less than 12 hours for someone to make a 6-inch toy of that and then took a photo. I think I messaged you guys in the thing after the episode airs. Yeah. It was like by 7 o'clock that night, someone had already not made Captain Enoch, just made one of the Kintsugi, like the Night Sister Stormtroopers or the Night Troopers with the red stuff and they just like, yeah, great, I've got one of them, and just bash one out and put it up on. And I was like, holy shit, welcome to nerds.
Who had zombie troopers on their bingo card?
Me.
I didn't actually.
The moment,
Winner.
because we've actually seen the Night Sisters do that kind of stuff before, like the reanimated Savage Press.
Yep.
And I was looking at that sort of design of the armors, and I thought, fuck, they'd look cool as zombie troopers. And I was right.
I love the glowing green eyes. That was
yes.
Yeah,
and the zombie death troopers as well.
Death troopers don't actually technically are like that anyway. Like death troopers are cybernetically enhanced humans who basically undergone too many procedures and are basically zombies anyway. They're kind of proto dark troopers. Yeah.
Okay, right.
But there's the actual zombie troopers. And that's one of the things that shat me the most about the finale. It was like, cool. So here's all the stormtroopers who sort of died, and then they get resurrected and they act like zombies, and then go from acting like zombies to normal troopers again. And they make stupid decisions. Like they get up at the start and they're like, and then they start moving around as normal. And then they get up to the top of the spire and then just all stop and watch. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, if she'd done something to kind of make them stop, that would have been cool.
Yeah, but she wasn't controlling them. That was the three mothers.
Yeah. But I also would have loved to have seen, and this is me just getting dark here, would have liked to have seen a little more dismemberment. If there's zombie troopers, cut some fucking arms off, guys.
We got a head.
Yeah,
We
but
did,
Head
yes.
came off.
I got a bit annoyed with some of that like reactionary stuff. They were like, like the way that they were moving around. That was kind of like, it felt like it felt like it wasn't a stunt team. It was just fans who were in costume, and they couldn't actually do a lot of stunts and make it look camera right. So yeah, that's how it kind of felt to me. It was like, it feels very fan film, and it didn't look smooth, especially considering you have, technically in this stage, a very powerful Jedi, another very powerful Jedi, and someone who's kind of a Jedi, who should have been able to take him out with a bit more efficiency. But hey.
Also, I think I'm with Tari. I'm not like 100% on board with Sabine becoming a force wielding Jedi.
Yeah, I think it would have been
feel like
fine.
her strengths lie in being Mandalorian,
Yeah.
and maybe they underserved her a little bit by going down that path. Like I feel like her first fight with Shin was like really cool, and then she was really undercooked the whole rest of the season because she's like trying to learn to use the Force and trying to learn lightsaber patterns, and she was always struggling in a fight with a lightsaber. But once that was knocked out of her hand, she's like using karate kicks and blasters and stuff. And I'm like, this is where your strength is. Why are
Yeah.
you like half-assing a lightsaber fight when you're clearly not very good and you're up against like a more advanced lightsaber user and you're getting away with this fight? Like you're not getting your ass kicked? Didn't find any of it believable.
I did like the fact that quite often she was relying on her Beskar armor, though.
Mm.
Like, and that was the thing. I was like, okay, there's a more interesting version of these fights available, where she is more Mandalorian. And I like what Rob said there. You know, Sabine's a Mandalorian becoming a Jedi, while Grogu is a Jedi becoming a Mandalorian. I'm like, yeah, I dig that.
I just
yeah.
don't think Sabine needs to be a Jedi or needs to use the Force at all. She's good and she's not good enough. I mean, it's kind of one of those things like, sure, she can be an apprentice. She can be taught everything that, you know, Ahsoka wanted to teach her, but just be a Mandalorian, you know?
Yeah. But
don't-
like it was so obvious that she was gonna force grab the lightsaber at the end. Like,
Yeah.
we saw that coming.
yes. But there was no Wampa chasing her. Didn't match canon.
I was happy with Ezra. I liked having Ezra come back.
Yep.
God, Iman was so amazing as Ezra.
Yeah.
And did you notice that he looked exactly like his dad's image from the
As in
Rebels cartoon?
the animated character.
Yeah. With the
his
beard
dad,
and everything there, but he acted like Ezra.
Yes.
Just an older, you know, kind of happier, more like. I mean, I'm not 100% down with the Force kung fu kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, I think about it. If a dude's been in another galaxy for 20 years or whatever, and there are no kyber crystals, 10 or however, I don't know how long it is.
Yeah.
And there are no kyber crystals there, and there's no way for him to create a lightsaber, then he's going to learn to use the Force in different ways.
Exactly, but use them in different ways that would make a little bit more sense instead of just the kind of,
pushing
you know,
people.
Yeah.
Well, it was a little bit Neo.
Yeah, a little bit bullshito right there. It's just kind of like, you do other things like just pick rocks up and throw them around, or you know, be a bit smarter about it. But sure.
Oh. Okay, we have to talk about the Clone Wars flashback episode.
Yes.
Because Rob did bring up Ariana Greenblatt, who played young Ahsoka, was brilliant.
She was great, and let's now we are in spoiler territory and talking about everything. It was amazing to see Hayden Christensen back as Anakin, but like good and fun and flippant and kind of happy Anakin, which we never got to see.
Episodes were the ones that made me cry because I was like, "Oh my god, it's young Anakin again! Why'd you go dark side, bro?"
Yeah.
And he was so beautiful. They did such a good job.
Yeah.
And Hayden was amazing.
Yep, he really was.
It was,
and I mean, he was great in Obi-Wan, but in this, it felt like he was. This was also this is a thing we've never seen. This is Hayden with his Padawan, and we've only ever seen that in animation.
Yes.
Yep.
And it was so fucking cool to see him call her Snips and go, this feels real. This
someone reached in the chest and just did this.
Yeah. And like I'm gonna say like that too, showing the 12-year-old girl on a battlefield and getting the PTSD, and then having all these understandings, you start realizing like, wait, she was like 14 when she like, you know, she did a lot of living in those couple of years where she was the Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. So
and like having to realize that you're in charge of the deaths of hundreds, if not thousands, of clones, and having to see them up personal and go, yeah, right, okay. It actually made me understand more about why she left the Order.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, pretty fucking good storytelling, Mr. Filoni.
Yeah.
You know, if you can give that level of kind of oomph to something however many years later, it's great.
It was cool to see the clone troopers too.
Yep.
Yes. Live action Captain Rex.
I mean, if there was one meme that struck out at me was that one clone trooper running across at the start. And if you know that, like, there is a meme in there, you can look it up going, oh my, just like the simulations. Like, trust me, that shot was just ripped out of that. And I'm like, I can't believe they did that. Yeah, there's a whole thing.
Mm. But also that
yeah.
all comes from the space between worlds, which is
Yep.
once again another thing from Rebels that you like. If you don't know what the fuck that is,
Yep.
that whole sequence is just
Yeah.
batshit
Yep.
fucking.
How does that work? Why was
Where
she
are they
there?
now?
Yeah. Why? But why? How does this work? It's like, well, it's kind of everything. It's a bit mystical. It's a bit fun.
Mm.
I'm not sure whether or not like Dave had pitched the space wolves in there anywhere, and then got those kind of lizard dog things as like a, they said no, but he was like, what if we had a lizard dog thing?
Oh, you mean a loft wolf?
Yeah, like the loth.
Ah.
We got the loth cats in, but I'm not sure about the
Yeah, we got
loth
loft cats.
Yeah,
I want
I still
loft
don't
cat
like them. They're like
plushie.
chicken cat things, chicken cat
Yeah, I
rat
want
I love
a
the
things.
little
loft
plushy
cats.
version.
Oh well,
Yeah.
you don't worry. It's Disney. You're gonna get one.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's like, what is it this year for the toy fair that's going to come out with it? It's now an animatronic loft cat. You too can have an animatronic loft cat.
Yay!
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. As Rob says, we'll get the wolves next season. We got loft cats and Purrgils this season.
Yep.
I'm hoping that Porgs will be in there somewhere as well. But
oh, don't. We don't need to go through all that.
Yeah, it's a good time seeing
Yep.
all those things coming back and giving you all of those little hits. I mean, fuck, Anthony Daniels just rolls into an episode and
Yeah.
drops some
Yep.
Leia lore, and you're like,
Exactly.
oh, okay.
I love seeing Genevieve O'Reilly again as Mon Mothma.
Mhm.
Like she's
Okay.
kicking ass.
Here's my thing though. I get so confused with the timelines because she doesn't
Mhm.
age in anything.
I know.
She looks exactly the same. Doesn't matter like where you are in the Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
She looks exactly the same. I'm
So
like,
this is
okay, but where
actually-
are we?
So this is roughly
Post Jedi.
post Jedi. So, what 10? No,
5,
15
I
years
think.
after Andor.
I think it's not 10 years. So Andor's pre. Andor
Pre-Jedi?
runs a few months pre Star Wars. So
Oh, right.
Andor runs
Ep 4.
pre and goes into episode 4. Oh, goes into Rogue One, sorry. So remember the second season of Andor is literally the 3 months before Rogue One, which leads into episode 4. And then Mandalorian and Ahsoka is post Jedi, where the New Republic has started to be formed, but I can't quite remember what it is. Someone will definitely tell me in 5 seconds when they've looked it up because they're typing away right now
I think
furiously
somebody
going.
said that it's 9 after New Hope.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So if it's 9 after New Hope, it means that it's 3 after 3 after fucking Jedi. But then hang on, Mandalorian set 5 after Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, it doesn't fucking matter.
It's all made up. We can do whatever we want. It's science fiction. There's no rules.
And it's nowhere near Resistance.
No, fuck that shit.
But what is interesting is once again we're seeing elements of the old empire falling apart and pulling itself back together. So the remnants of the empire. I found that bit in, I think it's episode 1, where they go to the shipyards, and you realize that there is a whole bunch of ex-Imperials who just shifted jobs.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
the
we
same
we saw it in
Mando a bit.
Yeah, where it was like, okay, well, what do displaced workers from the empire do? Like, do they go through rehabilitation or what? No, they just get plonked into a New Republic job and hope for the best.
And nobody's 100% sure whether they were, in it because they just wanted a job, or whether they were in it because they were down with the fucking Imperial. And I find that fascinating because this is, the truth of any massive social upheaval is that you don't know. You don't know whether somebody is a believer or just somebody trying to go about their life. And I really enjoy that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, more of this. It's also probably not because it's boring, but
Oh
Yeah.
no, that's why people thought Andor was boring, but I ate that shit up.
I,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just like, give me more of this
Yeah.
fucking
Although
political
the
shit.
ending
Yeah.
to Ahsoka kind of explains why Ahsoka wasn't around after she ran into Grogu and was hanging out with Luke for a bit.
Mm.
You know, I wonder though.
Hmm.
No, well, that's all just that's weird conjecture from my nerdy brain that has nothing to do with the show.
Come on, put it out there. It'll always be interesting.
No, but it's interesting because if Ahsoka had a lot of that character development between Ahsoka becoming like rectifying her past and her relationship with Anakin during the Ahsoka show, but then never getting to explain that to Luke, going, actually, you know what? Now I've kind of forgiven you, Dad, and like it's okay. I don't have that anger towards him anymore. Also, sorry, I've been gone. I've been in another galaxy for a little while. Bye. It's like, how are they going to get back? Do they have to friend some space whales again?
What,
Is Ezra
Yeah.
going to come back?
Well, he's hanging out
He
with
is back.
with Hera and
Yeah.
and co. But is he going to get back to what's the name of the planet?
Which one?
The one that Balin and that are left on. that
Peridia.
Everybody's left on. Sorry,
Peridia.
Iridia, Viridia.
Petridia with a P.
Oh, Peridia.
Peridia. Yes.
Okay, so the thing I find really interesting about it is that they've left a bunch of the characters on the most interesting planet.
Yeah, the
The
one with the
hermit crab
law.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love the hermit crab people.
They're very
random
cute.
I saw
weirdos
a fuck
who-
ton of hermit crabs on
Oh
holiday. Just
yeah,
gotta show
they're
you
like
that.
the Ronin people.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've heard people say, is Shin Hati going to be the person who creates the Knights of Ren? And I'm like, I doubt it.
She could be. Who
No,
knows?
we don't know. But yeah, like they're all on this fucking fascinating planet that's got these giant statues and had these witches of Dathomir on there. We don't know why. Did
Well, didn't they say that that was the planet that they originally came from before they went
right.
to? Well, they like immigrated to the other galaxy and set up a home on Dathomir.
That sounds
Yeah.
like the thing that they said that I probably didn't hear.
Yeah.
Um,
You need to
but
go
all
back
of
and
that's
watch
really interesting. And I
Hmm.
guarantee you that whatever the next series is, it'll pick up with something not that.
it. But I'm fascinated now. Like, do you know what? Like, I love that that's a great story and you were all interested about that. I'm not. I am absolutely fucking down for how the fuck is Thrawn going to fuck up some shit.
Mhm.
Really, with his
Because-
gigantic undead army.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. Well, I mean, hey, who knows what was in those coffin-y things that was on there?
What was in the
What was in the
crate? What's in the
coffin?
box?
What's in the box? What's in the
box?
I think it's actually witches, like Dathomiri witches, who are they're going to repopulate Dathomir and become that whole thing. But I don't want him to
Cool.
worry about that anymore and use undead people and all that sort of shit. I want him to go back and start pulling together the Imperial Remnant and doing the shit that he's famous for in the books and other things, which is using his tactical brilliance to fuck shit up. Like,
Yeah.
some absolute deadpan tactical bullshit will be great, and I want to see all that happen if that can happen.
Yeah, well, it's like, how did we go from New Republic to First Order? Like,
Yeah, well, even the
yeah.
first, but the First Order is like shit, basically. But you could be see like if Thrawn was there as a proto First Order, it might work.
Yeah, and that'd be really interesting if like this Imperial Remnant army, goes to war and there is this gigantic thing and it's Thrawn versus the universe, and then that leftovers become the First Order or something like that.
Yeah,
That is where I'm expecting. it
yeah,
to
I'm
go.
just really looking forward to it. And also, funnily enough, on my holiday, I read a whole bunch of Thrawn books.
Nice.
Which was all about his stuff before he came into this galaxy. Anyway,
Ooh.
yeah, they're good books.
I'm
It's
still
fun.
sad that they got rid of the lizard that used to hang around his neck.
The Yasalmari.
Mm.
I want them. Yeah, but I also want Vornsk.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, when those lizard dog thing turns up, wolf thing that turns up, that looks exactly like a Vornsk is described in the novel, which is basically a hunting dog that hunts by sensing other creatures' attachment to the Force. It hunts in the Force. So
I remember now.
yeah, in the Heir to the Empire trilogy, he wrote these dogs that were basically like, "Are you a Force user? This dog's absolutely gonna fuck you up." Because it would do that, and the natural creature's defense was to create a bubble of anti-force basically
Anti-force.
around it.
So the Islamari.
Yep.
And I fucking love that idea. I love
Yeah.
that he found the one thing that could keep him protected
Yep.
from Jedi and wore it as a shawl, basically.
Yep. Just wearing one. Why is that? Well, because you can't do shit to me because I'm immune to your
can't use
force
your
powers.
fucking Jedi mind powers. You can't force choke me. You can't do anything. You could still stab me with a lightsaber. That's about it.
If you could get close enough.
Exactly.
But also, I have a gun.
I love that last episode. Lars's acting was just amazing. Where like he's like, "Do not underestimate these Jedi. Go down there and fucking kill them." And then and it's like, "I'm sorry, but the troopers have been all wiped out." It's like, and then it's like, "They're coming up the tower," and that
is like
that disgruntled look of like these meddling kids.
You fucking.
I mean,
I feel sorry for fucking what's her name?
Morgan Elspeth.
El Morgan. Like she got shafted the fuck out of this series.
Yeah, when he was like, "I think you should stay behind and stop them." I'm like, "Oh, girl, you got done dirty.
You just got made into a fucking Dathomiri witch proper, and they gave you the sword, but no, that's it. You stay behind."
Yep.
Yeah.
For the Empire.
Was really in it. She was in it for more, and she got done dirty.
Big time.
Yeah. I mean, but see, this is what I like about Thrawn, the cold calculating side of he's just a mathematician on that sort of thing. I like that, especially when he was like, "Yes, it's no problem because our goal is to leave this place. It's not to kill this person. I don't care. Our job is to get away."
And the best way that we can do that is by leaving something powerful in their way.
Yeah.
And that's you.
Yeah. But you see, that was that kind of thing. That's why I'm excited about it, because that's how he should work. And especially because he's just like, yeah, so I'm not going to like ignore the Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. I want you to throw everything you can at that. Stop them, please.
Yeah.
Just do it. Kill it.
Yeah. The thing is, when you get invested in it, like the show is fucking good. And you're this bit and this bit and this bit. And this is why I love when we get really excited about Star Wars and you know, really cool TV.
Yeah. I'm down for it.
So good.
Yes,
so good.
I'm down for it. I'm gonna buy probably a fuck ton of toys. Yeah.
Probably
just more
going
toys.
to.
What do you mean, probably?
Well, they're not out yet.
You've already. I was going to say you've already bought half.
Do you know what?
20% off Hasbro sale.
No, I was on holiday, Jill.
Yeah, lucky you.
Yeah, lucky my wallet. No, there's only one that I'm down like going for. It was literally I have all of the other Rebels figures apart from the Chopper one, which they're re-releasing very soon. Or it's out now. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, the Chopper one, because I missed it the first time round, and then on the secondhand market, it was like fucking hundreds of dollars, and I was like, "Oh Jesus, I'm not able to afford that." Anyway, that's going to come out, and I'll finally have my Rebels crew in. All yay!
I do hope we get some Zeb in season 2.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Anyway, well, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, Ahsoka, yes, go do it.
Check it out if you haven't. Actually. If you were to give advice to people before watching Ahsoka, would it be start with Clone Wars, start with Rebels, or just go in cold and fucking live on the edge?
Rebels at least, because you kind of need the secondary characters and Thrawn to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Clone Wars not much. Like you kind of get a little bit of background on Ahsoka from Mando, so I wouldn't say a whole Clone Wars watch, but. Again, if you're going to watch any of the cartoons, please also watch Clone Wars because it's very good.
Yep. And there are some fucking great episodes. Like, that's the thing. There's so much of Clone Wars that you can kind of cherry pick.
Yeah.
And one thing I do like about Disney Plus is they actually will do you a selection. So they'll give you the Ahsoka selection, which gives you a few episodes from Clone Wars, a few
tasting
episodes.
plate.
Yes,
Nice.
absolutely. And I'm like, that's actually really fucking handy.
Yeah. Yeah. Look,
Because, Ahsoka's not in all of Rebels, but she's in some of it.
Yeah. Look, I mean, if you're going to be absolutely chaotic about it, just watch the sequel trilogy and then Ahsoka. Just be like, what? Everything is insane.
You sick fuck.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do it like we could watch like everything Star Wars, but do it alphabetized by what's the first line out of each of the series.
You're
Yeah.
just
Chaotic evil.
Chaos.
Yeah, you're an agent of chaos.
A chaos agent. Oh yes. Sorry. Thank you, Elskinorgi. Reminded Claudia Black. Shout out to
Yeah.
Mummy Black. Oh yeah, Dark
Yeah.
Mother Black. I'm down for it.
Yeah. I just waiting for her to start saying lines from Destiny.
Yeah. No, Terry. No, don't give someone a breakdown of Rebels. No, you just watch Rebels.
I mean, I will say, new Rockstars do a fucking good job of deep diving into stuff.
They do a lot of heavy lifting.
My word, there have been quite a few times that I've gone to new Rockstars and gone, "Help me, new Rockstars. You're my only hope." I don't know what the fuck I'm watching here. They big respect to them.
Watch it. That's cool. If anyone wants to contribute to me saving money to buy the Lego Ghost, go right ahead. That's a
Do you have a
separate
personal
account.
Ko-fi you're putting
Yeah.
in the account for?
I have to put or just mark it in the Ko-fi as Dear Dion. Sucks to be you, and then $0.
Dion's good.
Elskinoga, I think
You'll
you're
get
off the hook
nothing
on
out
this
of
one.
it. but-
Yeah. No. Yeah, that's about all we got there.
Right.
What are we doing next week?
Just one piece.
Oh,
Piece. Oh God, I'm
Yeah.
so
A
glad
piece
I don't
of
have
one.
homework to do for this month.
Yeah, not pieces of 8, but
Oh.
pieces of 1.
what's One Piece
with-
about?
About 1,064 episodes long. We are
Oh.
reviewing the anime. No, we're not. No, we're
Oh.
not. Yes, we are looking at the Netflix series based on the first 3 episodes. No, I don't know. The first
Yeah,
2
a fraction
arcs
of the first arc.
of the longest running anime series in the world, I believe, or
What?
one of the top 3.
Really?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
It's been
One
going for
Piece
that
is-
long?
It's
Oh,
been
yeah.
going for fucking ever.
over 1,000
Oh.
episodes, Dion, of
Yeah.
anime.
Yeah. And
And in War and Peace.
yeah.
War
yeah.
and One Piece.
Oh, I love it.
Jesus. Okay,
Yeah.
so how many? All right, that's
All you gotta
great.
do is watch the Netflix stuff and see whether you like it. That's all
Can
you
I
have
just
to
read
do,
the?
Dion.
Can I just read the wiki?
No.
Sure. See how that's gonna go.
Oh,
All right.
Adsky's here. Hi, Adsky.
Yeah, yeah.
Did we even get a rating from you?
He came
Been
late.
there
It's
a
fine.
while.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
so
So
that's
I've got a
next
little
week.
bit of homework to do, and that's okay. And then we're going to make sure we see the creator, and then it's
Yeah.
spooktacular.
Also, yes, it is
Spooky,
Spooktober.
spooky.
Spooky
We're
week,
having a good time.
spooky month.
Mm. Yeah, it is. It's a good time. I have a plastic skeleton in my house now, full size.
Love it.
No, is
his
it?
name
Is it in your
is-
closet, Quinny?
No, he's sitting on the couch.
Oh.
His name is inexplicably Skeleton
Oh,
because he
okay.
just happens to be French.
Skeleton.
We don't know. Skeleton.
Skeleton. Does he have a brother called Skeletor?
Probably. He's from America, though.
I'm gonna make him a purple robe.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, and actually, while doing homework and things like that, I'm going to get in before Peter tells us that we're supposed to watch an Apple TV show. Lessons in Chemistry starts on Friday, I think,
Cool.
and I read the book.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Lessons in
Intellectual.
Yeah, I
chemistry.
tried to say the whole plan to not be on the internet and took books, and surprisingly, I ended up reading all of the books.
Well done.
Including the Thrawn Ascendancy books by Timothy Zahn, which were interesting, and I still don't have one of them, so I've got to go find that now. And I got probably 90% of the way through Pratchett's Moving Pictures,
Oh, nice.
and then Jetstar lost my luggage, so I can't finish that book.
Oh, wrong.
But yeah,
Okay. Well, we should
All right.
probably stick a pin in it. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, to everybody, for joining us.
thank you.
Shall we? Yeah. Shall we go and raid someone?
Sure, why not? Yes, and Rob, yes, it's the Brie Larson new series, Lessons in Chemistry. The book is fantastic and very easy to read too, so highly recommend it before the show comes out, or the show should be good.
Nice.
What say we go and raid Back
Thank you, guys.
Pocket?
Okay, right, back pocket. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you all next week for One Piece. I better go start watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Better.
Bye.
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 here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. See, powered girl keeps staring at her face, and call Colossus and have him teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys. When martial arts from Iron Fist and Wall, I'll dance her up and teach her all my songs. Oh, I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not cooking up these heroes at my parents' restaurant now. I wanna yell out Avengers Assemble, not order up for Ethel. Yeah, we're out of cheeky now. Date Emma Frost and have her read my mind, or Magdalena, her artifacts I find, and now we catch a symphony. It'll just be her and me. Call Lucky Barn and arm wrestle for hours. This NMA and bring her lots of flowers. Oh, trendy bars, would be a guy's night out. We'd make that wolf pack out. I'd run with Flash and do a marathon. Vacation to the Savage Land for fun. Oh, I wanna live in a world full of. I wanna live in a world full of heroes. Have NPR and CNN describe the latest team. I wanna tuck my kids inside and read them stories of superhuman glory while the sleepy faces beam. Wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown.